All right. Well, once again, we are doing our HBCU series here at the College of Southern Nevada. We are so blessed to have Alexis Emanuel here with us from Fisk University. We were blessed to have her share with us in October with our transfer fair. We were able to have Fisk, which is a first time event and hopefully a continuous event to be able to provide information to students. So, with that being said, Alexis, I'll give you the floor and let you share with us about Fisk.
All right. Thank you, thank you. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for welcoming me in our university with opening arms and warm arms. I am Alexis Emanuel. I'm a Fiskite myself. I graduated in the class of 2018. I'm actually originally from Dallas, Texas. I've been here since 2014. Ever since then, I stayed here. Fisk has really paved the way for my career path as well as what I'm doing now. Obviously, I love the school and as well as what I didn't mention before is I'm a volleyball. I played volleyball for 4 years on campus, as well as I am the assistant volleyball coach as well now. So I wear a few hats. I've done a few things. I have the campus life background. I actually lived off campus my sophomore year, so I kind of have that background as well. I didn't really like that background. Being off campus kind of felt like a punishment sometimes. You have to, with me being an athlete, I was in school and class all day, and then we have practice at night or games or something like that, and you're coming back super late, and then I have to go home, and I can't bond with my teammates or go get food late at night with my teammates and stuff like that. So I didn't really like the staying off of campus part. So I definitely recommend being on campus because that's where you get most of your experiences, and especially your HBCU experiences that everybody know and love so much. But I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen and go through a little PowerPoint with you guys. Let's see, right here. All right. Can everybody see my screen okay? Hopefully.
Yes, we can
Yes,
see
we
it,
can.
Alexis. Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. All right. So Fisk University, we are located in Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee is the fastest growing city in the U.S. as of right now. Like you see on this list here, we do house over 16 colleges and universities, just a few off the top of my head that are down the street, probably within minutes. TSU is literally 3 to 4 minutes down the road, depending upon how many lights you catch or have to sit at. Vanderbilt's about 5 to 10 minutes down the road. You got Belmont, you got Lipscomb, Austin Peay's about 45 minutes away. So there's a lot to do. We are about 5 to 10 minutes from the downtown area as well. So lots to do on campus, lots to do off campus, as well as the international airport. So the international airport is about 15 minutes from campus. That's one of our most marketable things, I guess you could say, just because we are a very diverse university. We have students from all over the country. We have students from all over the world. So there's definitely a lot going on. Sometimes we have shuttles that take students back and forth to the airport as well during move-ins or move-outs and stuff like that. So a few facts, the history of Fisk. So Fisk was originally the Fisk Freed Colored School, and we were originated and founded in 1866. And you also see the Fisk Jubilee Singers here. So on the slide before, you see Music City here. So Music City and the Jubilee Singers are tied in together because Fisk University and the Jubilee Singers are pretty much the reason that Tennessee is called, or Nashville is called the Music City. So long story short, our Jubilee Singers traveled the world to raise money to keep our school afloat and alive and running, and they still do that until this day. But they had the opportunity to perform for Queen Victoria at the time, and long story short, she said, if these people are coming from this institution and this institution is in this place, that this place must be the Music City. So that is how Nashville, Tennessee got its name of the Music City. We are also a National Historic Landmark. We are, as well as have been told and posted, and I've actually seen a few documentaries on TV about Fisk being one of the most beautiful places in the world. So it's definitely a blessing to be able to have attended Fisk University, gotten that degree, being able to return the favor and feed into the students now who are looking forward to being rich in history here, or learning about their culture, or really just wanting to be in a place and being successful where students look like you and want to succeed in the same way that you do. So it's definitely a different place to be experience wise. It's very rich in history. There's a lot going on campus. um, these these right here are just a few alum that you may know, walking around on campus, knowing that these individuals. I actually had the pleasure of shaking Congressman John Lewis's hand before he passed away. So RIP, and all the most high to him. He was incredible. I actually had the pleasure of meeting Nikki Giovanni on this list as well. Um, some others you may know, of course, W.E.B. Du Bois. He's a big, big, big figure at Fisk University. He was the first African American to be accepted into Harvard Law with an undergrad degree from Fisk University. So he pretty much set the way and paved the way for Fisk. And we actually have a statue of him in the middle of campus, right across from our Liberty Bell, which all of our athletic teams ring the bell when they win, so for victories. This today, we actually have about 800 to 900 students on campus. Well, not right now with COVID, but without COVID, maybe a couple years ago. Right now, we probably have anywhere from 400 to 500 in the dorms right now, just with COVID, because we aren't doing any roommates or anything like that. So we're not doing any social events. Our students, right when they moved on campus, had to get quarantined for about 10 to 14 days, I believe, as well as they had to come in with negative COVID tests, have to get screened regularly, temperature checked regularly. So our security team is, very serious about it. Our university is very serious about it, just because most of our professors and mentors, or the people that we're working with partnership wise, are a little bit older majority of the time. So we want to make sure that we are keeping them safe, as well as keeping our students safe as well. So yeah, you see here, when it comes to the student to teacher ratio, student to teacher, oh my goodness, Lord, let me slow down a little bit. Student to teacher ratio, 12 to 1. Okay, so that's what I mean when we say we're trying to keep our professors and our students safe, because we are very one-on-one, we are very personal, we are very personable people at this university. When you meet one of us, you will meet all of us. My first time on campus, it was very different, because I wasn't expecting every single person I came across to speak. Every now and then you walk around and somebody's like, oh, hi, how are you? Where are you from? But at Fisk University, you walk on campus and people have never seen you before. They want to know who you are. They want to know where you're from. What are you doing here? What do you want to do? How are you going to succeed? And they want to be a part of your matriculation and your career path. So that's majority of what trapped me on. I actually took 2 visits. I took an academic visit, and I also took an athletic visit. My athletic visit was okay. Of course, it was just volleyball, so I just played. I didn't really get to meet anyone because I came for the summer. So my academic visit is when I really got trapped. We used to have a program over the summer, or towards the end of the school year. So it was called Scholars Weekend, and you basically signed up and registered for a weekend that you got to stay on campus with some students. So for me, I stayed on campus with a couple of the volleyball players. And so when I did, I got to, sit in the class with them. I got to go and eat in the caf, see the DJs on the yard, the Greeks strolling on the yard, just a normal day in a college student's life, I guess. I really wish we were still able to do that. We were doing it for a while, but then COVID really hit, and after that, we just couldn't do it anymore. But hopefully after COVID is over, or if it ever ends, I hope we can kind of move on and bring that type of, norm back, and, get campus somewhat to where it used to be, because campus is a lot of fun. We have over 50 organizations on campus, probably more than that at this point, because our campus is so small. You actually have the opportunity of creating organizations on your own, creating clubs on your own. I actually graduated with a degree in sports psychology. So on here you see our academic offerings and you see psychology. So for me, I actually was done with all my courses by the fall semester of my senior year. So that spring semester, I kind of had nothing to do. So I pretty much just made my own major. So the head of our psychology department, Dr. Sheila Peters, who is the most incredible person I have ever met in my entire life, and I will literally talk about that woman forever. She is the head of our psychology department for master's and undergrad, as well as she runs her own private practice. Actually, I think she just opened up another one in Memphis, um, for what I hear. She also is the sports psychologist for the Tennessee Titans, and she runs our counseling center on campus as well. So the woman is incredible. She does everything. If you have, any time or any, thought to want to even, type her in Google, like your mind would be blown to how much she has her hands in. She's incredible. So I actually was able that spring semester. I took 8 credits, 8 independent study credits with Dr. Peters. So just me and her alone, just going through the sports psychology side of my degree. So that was incredible. That was a lot of fun. These here that you see with the asterisk, we also have a corresponding graduate program as well. So I would probably, if I wanted to go back and get my master's, I would definitely do it at Fisk University, and I would definitely do it under Dr. Peters, just because I know I would get one-on-one experience, and I know I would get real and genuine, authentic experience, just because I know, what Fisk has done for me in the past, and I know how my relationship and Dr. Peters' relationship has been from the past till now. I could literally call Dr. Peters on the phone right now, and we could just talk for hours. And that was one of the biggest things for me individually, was knowing that my professors and my mentors were for me. They were for of course, they were for my, my peers and my classmates, but they made a way to make everyone feel individualized and made sure that everyone felt, special. And that's one thing that we really do harp on at Fisk, is making sure everything is individualized and about the student. So yeah, but I get to rambling on about, real genuine campus life, because that was just genuinely my experience. So sorry, I know I get carried away in that type of stuff, but it's genuine. So special programs here. A couple of these that I really like to talk about is going to be the joint pre-med program right here, and then the dual degree in science and engineering. So the joint pre-med program with Meharry Medical, basically what happens is you will go through your matriculation your freshman year. You'll go through all of your requirements and your prereqs that you need to get into that pre-med program, as well as that spring semester you'll go and take your MCAT. If you pass it and you get into the pre-med program, then you are no longer a Fisk University student, and then you spend the next 3 years over at Meharry Medical in their pre-med program. Now, the other one that I really like to talk about on here is going to be the dual degree in science and engineering. So the 3-2 program. So it's 5 total years, but you'll obtain 2 degrees. So what'll happen is you'll have 3 total years on campus at Fisk University getting your degree in one of our natural sciences. And then after that, you'll spend the next 2 years at either one of these institutions of your choice, whether it's Case Western or Vanderbilt, in science or engineering, whether it's Vanderbilt's pre-med program or Case Western's engineering program. We also, I believe, still have a pre-dental program with Meharry as well. So that's also an option. So these are just a few. Again, we have over probably 50 to 60 at this point organizations on campus. So here are just a few. Lots to do on campus. I think my favorite clubs on campus are probably each country's association, just because they host a lot of events, whether it is, parties or food or culture night or, like karaoke night or just vibe night, whatever the case it is. Like, there's always food. I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about other people's cultures. It was just incredible to taste food from all over the world and from, you know, people I never thought I would meet in my entire life. Like I have friends from the Bahamas. I have friends from Jamaica. I have friends from Nigeria and Nepal. Like it's crazy. So I mean, I also have a friend from Trinidad and Tobago. So that's also really cool. So just looking forward to, you know, meeting these type of people and possibly visiting where they're from one day. We also have a study abroad program as well in our career services department. So yeah, what's going on? Internship placement. This is also under our career services department. So these are not all of them, but this is just a few. Again, we have a billion partnerships. People that, I mean, I had no idea we had partnerships with some of these people. I mean, not this past year, but the year before, 12 of our students, I believe, were interning with Google. And for an institution of our size, that is completely unheard of. I don't even believe they chose one from Vanderbilt, so that's incredible. Off the top of my head, I have about 4 of my volleyball players that are HCA interns. One of my sophomores this year, she was a freshman last year, was flown out by Apple to present her business research, her international business research and app to that company. My senior now, she's from Castries, St. Lucia. She actually was flown out in her internship to present her research, and she has put herself in a position now to where she will no longer have to pay for her master's nor her doctorate, and then she will be going straight into their company working. So her
Amazing, Alexis. That was amazing. Masters and doctors for free. Oh my
I'm
God.
telling you, she is killing it. She's the number one kid in biochemistry. The things that she wants to do, like when she explained to myself and our head coach, we were like, Sky, what do you want to do? And she was like, I couldn't even tell you. It sounded like she was literally speaking in another language. And me and Jess looked at each other, and I said, what did she say? And she said, I have no idea, but she's going to change the world, and we're going to know her. And I said, you're absolutely right. And that's all I could say. I was like, Sky, you're going to be incredible. So she does not have to pay for anything. A lot of our internships, if not all of them, are paid. So you'll have a stipend, as well as, you know, if you put yourself in a great position, you will walk straight into a job when you graduate. So we're the number one, you know, school for job placement in all of Tennessee. So that's kind of our thing and what we do. So yeah, not to toot our own horn, but we do this. We do this. But yeah, so admissions requirements here that you see. So for these transfer students, it'll be a 2.5 GPA, unweighted, and we'll accept up to 62 credit hours. No remedial level courses, but that's just because we offer them as well. So yeah. So application requirements for our transfer students will be here as follows. If you have less than 30 credit hours, of course, we'll need the transcripts, the common application, which now we do have our application on our website as well. So that's at Fisk.edu. That's on our website under the admissions tab. The course descriptions, which of course they can just get from your website and copy and paste them onto a Word document. And then the standardized test scores if they are under less than 30 credit hours. Now, if they're above, then I just need their application, which of course they can do on the Common App again or on our website, and then the transcripts and those course descriptions. But other than that, that is all I will need from them. All right. So application deadlines. Well, we just passed this one, so the February 1st. So we're just kind of in our regular decision area as of right now. We are taking documents up to July 15th. So if a student doesn't have what they need as of right now, we can take that up to July 15th at the latest. So, there's my information. You guys have any questions?
So I'm going to kind of jump in on a couple of things, Alexis, that definitely stuck out to me. First of all, definitely have to give you the props on that. Giving you some props on the Black history. I mean, the Jubilee City thing was really big. I did not know that. So when you said that, I was like, that was pretty amazing. And I think, you know, being an HBCU grad myself, Always being able to connect the history to how we started and how we became HBCUs, and how not only that, but the connection to the city as well. I think is a really big key. So that is something I definitely will take out. Every time we've done one of these, someone always drops some Black history, right? I'm like, yeah, come on with the Black history during
There's a
Black
lot
History
more where
Month.
that came from.
Yeah, that was some good, some good knowledge there, and I don't know if I told you, one of my high school classmates, her son just graduated from Fisk this past December. So I had a chance to kind of see his journey, and she talked about, I never forget the story she talked about. Is like they got there, and all the money wasn't right, and that's always the story of the HBCU. Sometimes the financial aid is not right, but the thing that she said that was really important, she said she was at the financial aid office, and lo and behold, the vice chancellor was in the building coming through from talk to them. He heard her, really, how we do as parents. We're like, our baby wants to go here. He said, come with me. She said, before I ended, my son was getting a refund of $600, and she talked about just how they were like, hey, that baby not going back to Oakland. That baby is coming to school here, and she was like, he didn't know my son. He said, he gave my son his cell number and was like, if you need anything, my wife, and you don't have to. He told him, you can get back on your plane. We got it now. And I
Exactly.
and I always say that is the beauty of historically Black colleges, that that I think is always not really shared as much, which is why I hate that there's no a different world right now, because that was the feel. It talked about how we took care of one another. So when you were talking about that, I was just like, yes, that is what HBCUs are about. And I'm like, I don't care what HBCU you go to. I went to University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. When you were talking about who came to speak, I was like, John Lewis, that is pretty amazing. And then you said, oh, I met him, and I was like, but we at least had Michelle Obama. She came to do our commencement speech, so I can say that, So I'm gonna just throw that out there. But yeah, that was just pretty amazing. I mean, and the effect that can have on students, especially students of color, to have an icon like that come to your college. And Nikki Giovanni, that's enough said, and I think those opportunities that happen for our students at our colleges can make a big, profound impression on your life when you're trying to move forward. So I was definitely glad that you touched on that. And I also wanted to drop in when you talk about Meharry and Fisk too. My dentist went to Fisk and then graduated from Meharry, so I'm
There you
very
go.
familiar with that connection too.
There you
But I
go.
definitely wanted to talk to you about the career planning aspect. Is one of the things that we do. We're the Career and Transfer Services Department, and one of the things we always talk about and stress is that the importance of making those connections before you graduate. Don't wait till your senior year now, like, oh, I need a job, and
Right.
just making those connections. So when you were talking about those internships and things like that, I think that is really key. And so as we're trying to help our students, just to see the connections that you guys have with those companies, and there's some companies that are working with CSN as well. But can you talk a little bit more about the utilization? Do students use it a lot? And or is it so like in my school, you cannot graduate from the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff unless the Career and Transfer Services Department signs off that you have a resume and
Right.
have done mock interviews in that office. So I want to know, do you guys do the same thing?
Right. So, over 40% of our students are receiving internships. So,
Okay.
the national average is actually only 9%. I don't know why. I don't know what these other institutions are doing. I don't know what's going on. But
Oh,
we're at Fisk, we're not making our students wait. If you want to come in as a freshman and you want an internship, you walk into that office and you say, Miss Wells, I would like to do this and this, and she will put it on your plate. Now, it is on you to create those, one-on-one relationships, which, because we are Fisk University, you will get those one-on-one, relationships. We don't do things very big. We do things very small settings. We celebrate small successes. So we definitely make sure that we are putting, our students' hands in whatever they need to be in, whether it is, their labs, or, whether they're going to work and sit at the front desk at a hospital, or going to, sitting with the chief of the hospital learning about the business side, or um, we have students over at Centennial Hospital, we have students over at HCA Hospital right now. I mean, it's just, there's I don't know. I mean, our students literally just grab everything that it's just like low hanging fruit. It's just, whatever they want to do. School we know is a place that you're going to make whatever you want out of it. So it's kind of just based off every student individually. Now, again, over 40% of our students are being selected for those internships. So that is a ginormous number.
Absolutely.
That a lot of our students do look for that. And a lot of, I don't even think maybe one or two of our volleyball players don't have internships. So you have student athletes that are, in these internships and being paid for these internships. Sky, who I was talking about, she's our senior volleyball captain, and she is about to graduate and finish wherever she wants in the world, So
Right.
she can go wherever she wants. So that's just one person, and if our athletes are capable of it, just think about our normal students and how they're taking off. So, I mean, our internships are definitely very, very personalized.
Absolutely. That is amazing. Another thing that I think that makes Fisk so unique compared to most HBCUs. Most HBCUs are like Pine Bluff. It's not a small. It's like 55,000, but it's not like being in Nashville. It's not like being in Atlanta or DC. And I think that also provides a great opportunity for students to connect in the open market because it's a bigger city and there's more job opportunities there as well. And the last two events that we've had, both of the people that have presented, you're number three that graduated from Fisk and then started working at the school. And I think that is a unique perspective as well, is that the door was open for you to come back and give back, is what I call that. So I think that also talks about the relationship you have with the school, is that you wanted to come back and start working there.
Well, the crazy part is they called me.
Wow.
So I mean that's the blessing part. I mean, I didn't even have Dr. Frederickson, my boss, in class, and he called me on my phone. Like I picked up my phone and it said Jens Frederickson, and I was like, huh? What would he want?
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, I heard you would be the perfect person for this job.
Wow.
Cool, sign me up. Let's do it.
See, that's amazing, and
Like,
that's relationships, as we're talking about. I kind of had the same experience too. My former teacher ran for state representative and then went on to become a judge and handpicked me as well. I didn't interview. He just was like, "You're the one I want. You were in my class. You were my best student." And those relationships, and still to this day, he's my mentor. I could call him up for anything right now. And as you were saying, when you were talking about, being a sports psychology major, you were talking about the connection you made with that professor, and I was like, those things don't really get uh, really highlight as much because they are important. The relationships you have with those professors can really propel you into your career. Look at you now. Not only did you play volleyball there, but now you're coaching there. So you definitely are using that knowledge that you had there. I do have one thing I wanted to ask. So um, CSN, we're an HSI, which is Hispanic Serving Institution, as well as a minority service institution. And so we have a pretty diverse mix here at CSN. And I don't want to host these things and give the impression that they're only for Black students. So can you talk a
right.
little bit about the diversity? And there's definitely diversity in Nashville as well, but definitely the diversity at Fisk University.
Yeah, definitely. So the diversity is, I mean, like I said, there's people from all over, our country. There's people from all over the world. Like I said, I've had friends from Trinidad and Tobago, the Bahamas, whether they're Indian, white, black, Asian. There's people from Nepal who are Asian. There's people from Nigeria who are Indian. It's so you never know. But we do have. I mean, what it doesn't seem like about like 1 to 2 to 3%, but it's like you see it. You know what I mean? Like you see it on campus. So it's not like you have 5 white people and you never see them. Like you see everyone. You'll never be on campus and see someone new. And if you do see someone new, it's because they don't go to school there and they're visiting or something like that. So you notice. But you see everyone. And in my matriculation, I mean, we had people of all ethnicities in all of my courses. in the admissions office. Daniela Lopez. I don't know if you've met her, but she's our senior admissions counselor. She is Hispanic. She's from Charlotte, I believe.
Okay.
So we have her, and then Gregory Dindy, which both of them are my classmates as well. So we all graduated in 2018. She was in psychology with me, and Greg was in political science. So yeah, but I mean, it's very, very diverse on campus. Just we, and that was probably one of my favorite things was learning about everyone else's culture and their diversity, and just seeing their style, the way they dress, the way they carry themselves. It was just different. Being on an HBC campus is just different. Like the vibe is just genuine. Genuine, extra. Enthusiastic, happy, just good times. Sometimes you'll be in your room and you'll wake up to your alarm clock. Sometimes you'll wake up to the DJ on the yard, like, get up, today's your day. So it's kind of it's kind of whatever you make it. So
I remember those days. Those were the first week of school. The freshman week is always, I'd say, the hypest week. And even as an upperclassman, you can enjoy those because it kind of brings back memories of, you're getting back to campus, So I definitely can understand that. And I think I remember you talking about in your presentation about the favorite clubs that you have with the multicultural clubs because you got to learn. And I think that's really a unique point that I definitely didn't want to not really discuss that. And when we did University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, Cecilia Colazar is actually Caucasian, and she's from Phoenix. So it was definitely a big adjustment for her. She graduated from UAPB. She played softball there. She was there on a softball scholarship, and now she's the transfer coordinator at the University of Arkansas Pine. She's just bought into the system. So that goes back to what you're saying. It's a family, and as you said, you're big, but you're not big. 1 to 12 is a great ratio for a teacher-student ratio. So a 1 or 2% ratio for, students that are not African-American is especially on a small campus. Yes, definitely, you will definitely be able to see those connections and have those connections because it is a much smaller place to be as well. I definitely wanted to allow Mona or Tommy or Joy or Ruth to ask any questions if they definitely wanted to ask some questions as well. Mona, if you have any questions, I'll give you a chance now.
Yeah, Alexis, I had a question. And I know you were going over the population. How many students did you say was at the college?
So about 800 to 900 realistically on campus at a time. So.
But how many altogether then? I mean, that's not on campus.
Oh, that's the total.
Oh, that's the total? Oh yes. My God, that's so small. That's
very small. I mean, all your professors will know you by your first name, your last name, your favorite color, why your mom was mad at you yesterday. Yeah, that's pretty.
Wow, that's
I did not know that it was that small.
I didn't either.
I could toot my own horn. We have at least 3,000 students at the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. That is very small, but that's
super small.
Very personal. Yep.
So that is very personalized.
Make your own organizations, create your own club, create your own major, whatever you want to do.
So do you think that's the success of why your students are so successful is because they feel like they are nurtured by the professors and by just the community itself?
Nurtured and prepared for sure.
That's a great question, Mona, because that follow-up when you were talking about, I know you are a volleyball major. We at CSN do have sports now. So what sports do you have at this?
So we have men's and women's basketball. We have volleyball. We have golf. We have track and field, men's and women's track and field. We also have men's soccer. We are also adding women's soccer this year. And I believe that's it. Oh, we also have tennis.
Okay.
I don't know if I said golf, but tennis and golf, yeah.
So I would definitely be sharing this with our athletic department because we do have we have volleyball, we have men's and women's basketball as well, and we have soccer here as well too. So I'll definitely be sharing with them, so maybe they'll be making some connections. Joy, did you have a question?
Yes. So since you guys' campus is so small, is it very competitive to get in, or is it pretty much like open? Like you apply, you have the grades, you have everything, you can just get right in.
Yeah, so pretty much if you have the requirements, we will complete the application and it'll get moved over and our bosses, will admit you if you meet the requirements. And if you are above the requirements, then they can, present you with possible merit-based scholarships as well. So yeah, it's competitive once you get in the sense of how much knowledge you want to obtain.
Okay.
So it's kind of just, on as of it's not, I don't know how to really explain it. Not competitive in a negative manner. It's competitive in a way that prepares you when you get out, if that makes sense, like in your
Yes.
career field.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
And that was a great question, Joy. So thank you, because it kind of gave me another question when we're talking about admissions. So one of the things, are you very strict on how you look at transcripts? Because I know when we've talked to other universities, sometimes some classes don't come in. I saw you said that they need to add the course description. So is that really the easiest way to get your courses evaluated, by making sure that you submit the course description?
Yeah, so the course descriptions are going to tell us exactly, what we need to know and in order to, weigh out what exactly it would look like if it was a course that we offered. So we kind of just see what it best matches, and then from there we'll kind of just like cross it off. And if it's something that we don't offer, like cosmetology or something like that, of course that's not going to transfer to Fisk University because we don't offer cosmetology. Although we are a private liberal arts institution, that's just not something that Fisk is gonna put their hands in, if that makes sense.
It does. It definitely does make sense. Because I definitely wanted to ask that question, because that always is the scary part about, transferring, is how many credits am I going to lose? So I definitely want to make sure I ask that question. Ruth, did you have a question?
No, my question already got answered.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Ruth. And Tommy, if you want to put your question in the chat, if since I know that you said your mic is not working, if you have a question, you definitely can put it in the chat, and then I can ask it for you. As you were talking about, students and admission, do you guys have programs that waive out-of-state tuition? Because of course our students will be coming from out of state. So I was curious, are there any programs that do waive out-of-state tuition based on like grades or things like that?
So we are a private institution, so we actually do not do in-state or out-of-state tuition. So it's one flat rate. So about 33,000 a year, but about 90, I would say 96 to 98% of our students are receiving financial aid. So as well as merit-based scholarships, and we actually have a scholarship coordinator on campus as well now. So to help you stack those scholarships and find outside scholarships as well. So.
That is amazing. I wish I had known that. Maybe I would have sent my son there. But the only thing is, you guys aren't a football team yet, so I'm just like,
we talked about that last time.
yes. Also Tommy said that was his question, was about out-of-state fees. And then I would also definitely like to pick up on, as you were talking about the class size, 12 to 1 is pretty amazing, to have that type of class size. So what is your average graduating class size every year?
So it can range anywhere realistically. So let me think. My class size was the biggest at the time. We had about 600 of us.
Wow.
And that was the biggest class size. I think we graduated with about 387 to 389, somewhere around there. So, I mean, majority of the time when it comes to Fisk, when people are leaving, it's because they can't afford it. It's not because they're failing out or anything like that. It's just simply because they're not able, like their funds are not, the funds aren't there. They can't afford it. So other than that, people of course want to be on campus. They want to stay on campus. Fisk is a degree that people would kill for, and so an experience that I think people would kill for. I don't know. For me, Fisk has been a place that has been unlike anywhere else, like experience-wise. It's just been so positively impacting my life for as long as I've been here. So I don't know. I just had a great experience, genuinely, and easy to talk about. So.
And I can definitely tell, and I think that's why I know that's why I wanted you to come back, because when we talked, I think we talked for like 20 minutes that day, Alexis, and I was just like, wow, you just kind of, you are like the Fisk billboard. I'm like, because you are like really sold on what Fisk has done for you, and you're still exuberating that spirit in this conversation. So I'm definitely glad that you chose to come back and definitely talk to us. And we're gonna try to keep these things going on a regular basis. So I definitely am looking forward to having you talk to us a little bit more about these things. I do have one final question I definitely wanted to ask you. Coming from Dallas, which is a pretty big city, and with yeah, a pretty big city, and then coming to Nashville. I mean, yes, they're southern cities, but you've kind of embraced Nashville, and I think sometimes when students leave, especially coming from Vegas, because we're so enclosed in, because there's nothing really around us within like 4 or 5 hours. Phoenix is 4.5. LA is 4 hours. Can you talk a little bit about your change in dynamic when you left Dallas? Did you have any friends when you went to Fisk? Or, and how were you able to really adjust being an out-of-state student?
So yeah, it was a big change for me. I was a minority in high school, believe it or not. I'm actually mixed. My mom's white, my dad's black. So it was definitely different. When I got on campus, people definitely looked at me different a little bit, kind of, you know, wanted to know where I was from, wanted to know, what my ethnicity was, wanted to, be my friend and all that type of, how that goes. It's college. Like people wanna talk to you. They wanna be your friend. It was definitely overwhelming, coming on campus and everyone being like, "Hey, who are you? Where are you from?" Like a little bit overwhelming, just because where I'm from, people aren't. I mean, we're Texans. People aren't very friendly. Let's just be honest. Like we're not very friendly. So I'm not gonna just be walking on the street and be like, "Oh, hey, who are you? How's your life?" And that's exactly how it was when I got on campus. So it was kind of like, "Whoa, hold on, like what's going on?" So just adapting in that way and trying to, broaden my own knowledge and learn myself and what makes me tick or what makes my anxiety go through the roof or what calms me down, like on campus, like just being overwhelmed or not being overwhelmed. But for me, what it was knowing that on campus there was always someone before me who had done it, and there was always going to be someone that I could reach out to if I was going through anything at all whatsoever, whether it was my professors or the cafeteria lady or whoever, like the people who would clean our dorms. Honestly, you make relationships with everyone. Like you go through the line in the caf every day, you're going to know those people. Those people are going to know your name, and they do know your name. So I think just having that alone definitely helped me out personally, because I did come from a very tight-knit family. My mom was a freaking helicopter mom. She sits right here all the time, does everything all the time. So I think my freshman year, that first semester, I think she was here like every other weekend. And I was like, "Are you, Mom? I came 12 hours away, Mom. Like, you're still here." Like, oh my gosh, like I was losing my mind. But yeah, it changed my perspective on a lot of things, like the way I carried myself, like the way I walk, if I walked by myself or like if I was alone or anything like that. Like half the time I wouldn't be alone, just because on campus there's a stigma that is a Fisk gentleman. So realistically, being on campus as a woman, you should not be walking alone. You should not be carrying your own books. You should not, that type of thing. Like there is a stigma of the Fisk gentleman. So if you're walking alone as a woman and you have your hands are full, that's not okay. That's frowned upon type thing. So just having that type of, backup, just whether you realized it or not, whether you're having a bad day and you're struggling to hold your books in your hand, and a gentleman just comes up and just says, "Hey, you look like you're struggling. Let me help you out." Like it's just easy, just little things like that. Whether the Greeks have their days, whether they're handing out carnations or little truth or dare facts or little facts about their organizations, or smile, you look beautiful today, little things like that. Just the way campus carries itself and the way people on campus carry the campus. So it's just a lot to take in, just HBCU culture wise. So that's what really helped me out.
I really enjoy hearing that, because as you were talking about the dorm life, Miss Williams was my dorm mother. We call them dorm mothers because they become your mothers away from home, and she was that mother. you know, when I was in school, we had curfews on the dorm, and she'd be standing at the door 12 o'clock. You know,
11:57. You heard me?
right? She's standing at the door. Now she's watching. I always say, you know, us old people know about Nightline. She would be watching Nightline, waiting on Ted Koppel to get off because she knew it when he went off, everyone should be in the door.
Yep.
But so I definitely do understand that part. So with that being said, definitely, Alexis, I really appreciate you coming with us and sharing with us. And what we'll do with this video is we'll share it. Ruth is our amazing media person, so she will chop it up and do whatever she does to it and make sure that our students are able to see what the information that you shared, and hopefully we'll make some connections to be able to provide opportunities for our students to be able to learn about HBCUs, but also not just to learn, but also what they can provide for us, and that they're not only institutions for African American students. So I definitely want to say thank you for participating in this, and we definitely will connect again.